The NFL draft order is officially set, and we're going to do our second mock draft of the offseason. Make sure you stick around to the whole video because we have tons of surprises in this mock draft.
All right, I got the odds, so I got the free pick. Fernando Mendoza is going to be a Raider at 1. Basically seems inevitable. I haven't seen a single mock draft in the past maybe 3 weeks without this happening. And he's the clear quarterback 1 in a very weak draft class. So,
yeah, I mean, like you said, very weak quarterback class, and people will think very weak class in general. I'm not so sure I agree with the weak class in general part, but definitely weak quarterback class. And we've discussed multiple times now in our previous mock drafts, and if you haven't seen those, go check them out. But Fernando Mendoza is going 1, and you know a lot of people think he's the franchise guy. I saw a thing the other day that was like, will these quarterbacks win a Super Bowl, or maybe it was can these quarterbacks win a Super Bowl in their future? I think it was can these, and they said no to like everyone but like. In the AFC, but they said no to everyone but Burrow, Lamar, Allen, Mahomes, Nix, May, and Fernando Mendoza. So
what do you mean no one except for, and then you named like 8 quarterbacks?
Well, I was just narrowing
8 quarterbacks and not winning a Super Bowl.
They're saying that can, and they put Mendoza as one of those, basically. So I thought that was interesting. I don't agree with that necessarily, but people think he's really good. They think he's really, really solid. And if he is, then obviously this is number 1 pick. I think it's a bit of a reach personally just because there are no other quarterback options, which makes it very obvious for us, though, to go number 1 here for Fernando Mendoza. I think the mock draft really begins now at pick number 2. Mm-hmm. I actually have to make a difficult pick. Who'd we go with last time? Arvell Reese? Is that right?
Yeah.
So we went with last time. This is an interesting pick and really bad spot, in my opinion, for the Jets. Mm-hmm. We talked about how, it just feels like the edge room is their strongest point on the defense somehow. Like, they don't have terrible edge rushers. You know, They've got 2 guys in there, in Johnson and McDonald, that can play at least, right? Like, that are decent guys. And you'd want to take an edge here, it feels like, at 2, right? Mm-hmm. You know, the value is there. There's some amazing players on the board here. And, you know, we did, and I feel like most people are going with edge anyway. You know, you get, like Arvell Reese, you'd have to convert him to edge to take him here at number 2. But it's just such a weird spot to be drafting because it's not like you're going to take a corner here at 2, which you could really use. It's not like you're going to take Caleb Banks here at 2, even though
that'd be very rich.
Or sorry, not Caleb Banks, Caleb Downs. Even though you know he's very good, but the positional value you could really use him as well. So it's very difficult on what you'd want them to do. They have their offensive line figured out. You're not going to take a tackle here. They have their quarterback figured out. Or sorry, whoa. They don't have their quarterback figured out, but however, there isn't a quarterback you would ever even consider here. So it just makes this very difficult for them. I do want to go a different way than what we went last time, so I don't want to go Arvell Reese, even though I want to say that that's probably the most likely pick here as of right now. But again, we're 2 months out from the NFL draft. We are more than 2 months, actually. Like, a lot of time to, like, raise your draft stock. The combine hasn't even happened yet. So there's just like ton of possibilities still. For me, I'm actually going to go David Bailey here because, you know, it's between the edges. It's the only things that I think are really worth it at 2 that is somewhat of a need, right? Like they do need that number 1 edge rusher. A lot of people really like David Bailey. I've seen him mocked here multiple times. And so I'm going to continue with that. I don't think he's the best edge on the board, but it does, I don't know, he kind of feels like a Jets pick to me. I see it more likely than Ruben Bain. And so going a different direction than Arvell Reese. I mean, he's definitely had more experience rushing the pass with than Arvell Reese. He's more developed, more proven than Arvell Reese. And so I could see him going 2 here.
Yeah, I would hate it if they tried this just because Jermaine Johnson and Will McDonald are both very similar players to Arvell Reese. They're all speed rushers who aren't very good. Yeah, did I say Reese?
You said Reese, yeah.
Oh, yeah, to Bailey. Because they don't have a lot of power to their game. They're not good run stoppers. You're hoping with Bailey that he'll end up being a good 3-down player, but there's still potential. He's just a designated pass rusher, which is kind of what Jermaine Johnson especially Will McDonald, have been in the NFL. So I think in my opinion, they should go with probably Ruben Bain. I think he fits their team the best.
I think that's who they should go with. I don't think it's who they're going to go with. It seems like Ruben Bain's going to drop a little bit because of his arms from early looks. And again, we're trying to predict here. So obviously, let me make this clear. I don't think this is a good pick for the Jets. I just don't really think that there's any pick they can make where I'm like, oh, slam dunk at 2. Like, I just don't think there's a good pick for them at 2. Ruben Bain, I'd be the most happy for them because I think he's the best edge available. That's a valuable position. But again, it's like, that's the only one I'm even like leaning towards if I'm picking, right, to make the best pick available. But apparently the Jets don't really want him. No one thinks Ruben Bain's going to. They think he's going to draw because the short arms, like I said. And so I wanted to switch it up from Reese because I don't know how I could see Reese falling a little bit before the draft for sure, being that guy who hasn't been proven necessarily. What's his name? Jalen Walker was supposed to go like 8 last year. Didn't end up going that high. Still went pretty high, but he fell a little bit. And so I think that there's definitely a chance he could. And David Bailey seems to be on the rise. He's risen a lot over the last few weeks. So
interesting. All right. Well, at number 3 for the Cardinals, I think so. What the 2 most common picks are edge rusher or tackle. We went with tackle last time, so I do want to go with an edge rusher here since I think both are very possible for the Cardinals, who might want a guy next to Josh Sweat because right now their other guy is Zaven Collins, a converted off-ball linebacker. I'm going to go with Arbel Reese just because
interesting.
I think he will go high in this draft. He has a lot of people think he has a lot of upside. Plus, this GM has liked players similar. Like, he traded for Baron Browning, Ohio State off-ball linebacker, converted pass rusher. They have very similar players. Obviously, I think Reese has a lot better chance to be an elite player. I think ship sailed on Baron Browning.
You think?
Yeah. He also likes best player available. Their GM, that's a big part of his draft strategy. And according to consensus, I'd say Arbel Reese is the best player available at this point.
Which it's just not true because Ruben Bain is better. Caleb Downs is definitely consensus better, but obviously a safety.
Positional value.
Yes, positional value. Not going to take him here, but no one fits there except Arbel Reese. And again, I wanted to switch it up with not having any more info yet from the combine and all that. And so hopefully things shift around. Made it to this point in the video, you should subscribe. It probably means you like our content, and we'd really appreciate it. Back to the video, guys. Moving on to number 4. That makes my life really easy, I feel like. Last time, who did we go with last time? At 4, maybe it was Bailey.
Yeah, Bailey.
And so obviously edge is a very big need for these guys, especially considering the fact that you just brought in Robert Saleh. Evan, obviously you really want a receiver. So I think it's between those 2 positions, and you're not even considering a different one, right? You've got Ruben Bain on the board still. That is super tempting. I feel like he'd be really good under Saleh in that defense, rushing with Jeffrey Simmons. I feel like that'd be a lot of fun to watch. But we did go edge last time, and even though I think that Ruben Bain is different and a better pick, I think that we should go receiver here. I feel like they want to get their number 1 guy or just a competent receiver in that room because really it was IU Maynor was their number 1 receiver all year, and he wasn't great, right? So, obviously Calvin Ridley was hurt for a lot of the year. And so you've got the 3 guys here on the board. Obviously, you think Mekhi Lemon is the best one. We've talked about that in the past. Haven't done my full scouting report. But, we know Mekhi Lemon's a slot kind of guy. And maybe I think the Titans would lean more towards like getting an X kind of guy. So I'm actually going to go Carnell Tate here to the Titans. I just think that that's someone that they're going to like, someone that is obviously a very good player out of Ohio State. He did play next to Jeremiah Smith, so there might be some concern there, like how much can he translate into being a number 1 caliber guy. But he showed a ton of great stuff on film, and you can get that number 1 receiver in there hopefully for your young quarterback that you're trying to develop. Just brought in Brian Daboll to run that offense, and I think that if they don't go edge, they're easily going receiver here because they have a huge priority of developing Cam Ward.
Yeah, I mean, I think they need to prioritize receiver in the offseason. I think they should probably do it in free agency as well.
I agree. Just
because of how thin that receiving room is. I don't think Ridley's coming back. I think they'll probably end up cutting him, trading him, getting rid of him, and then they have DK and IU Maynor. So definitely need to add some guys to that room.
For sure. And so I think Carnell Tate makes some sense here. Probably a little high for my liking for a guy like Carnell Tate. But I could definitely see the Titans going with him.
Yeah. At number 5, I think it's a pretty tough pick here. I think I'm going to go with Caleb Downs.
Interesting.
I mean, best player in the class outside of, like, if you don't count positional value. John Harbaugh knows how important it is to have a superstar safety who can move around everywhere. Just had that with Kyle Hamilton, who played a lot of slot, a lot of strong and free safety. I think Caleb Downs can do it all. Obviously, not the same player. He's not 6'4" or anything, but Very good tape, good tackler, good in coverage, really good at everything. There's just no real weakness to his game.
Right. And Caleb Downs can play all over the field. He did everything for Ohio State. And he's a phenomenal player. He's everything you want in the safety, right? And I think it's arguably the biggest story of this draft is where is Caleb Downs going? Because we really have absolutely no idea. I mean, it is so hard to guess because, you don't want the teams don't want to let it be another Kyle Hamilton situation where they let him drop because of the position him, and he's one of the best defenders in the league. And Caleb Downs is just absolutely incredible on the field, on the tape, and so it's going to be hard for teams to pass on him, especially teams that could really, really use him well, like the Giants, who could move him around to a bunch of different places and play him all over the place and have a lot of value there. So I didn't expect this pick for the Giants, but I think it's definitely a good pick for them. It would be a slam dunk to get a guy like this at 5, even though the positional value. But also, I think that it shakes up the board. I was just thinking about this. Shakes up the board quite nicely compared to what we had last time, because now the corners are available a little bit down the board, which we'll obviously talk about in a little bit. But also just how this draft's gone. It's gone completely in a different direction than last time, because now we're on the clock at 6 with the Browns. And they had their pick of the litter with the receivers last time, but we still ended up going, I think Spencer Fano was who we went with last time, because Maui Noah was already off the board. So they had the pick of any tackle or any receiver outside of Carnell Tate here, which would be a very good scenario for them. I think out of a top 10, I think there's a very good argument to say the Browns are picking in the best spot for them, because I think there's a really good shot that they get almost any player besides probably one that they want. Right, so I think that there's a chance a tackle goes off the board, or there's a chance maybe a receiver to the Titans, and if not, then they're going to have their pick of anyone. So I think this is probably between Jordan Tyson and Francis Maui Noah here. If you like Tyson a lot, you think he can be that number one guy, then you can have Judy switch inside and outside. You can have Fannin, who obviously looked amazing this season. And so you can finally start to have a good receiving core, but there's that injury concern, and you can see Jordan Tyson dropping because of that injury concern. He's been hurt every year of his career, and that's very, very concerning. And I even though we went tackle last time, I think I'm going to go Francis Maui Noah here, only because, I mean, dude, every single one of their offensive linemen is a free agent. Like, you cannot pass on a guy that can be that is very good chance of being a franchise tackle for you, right? And if he's available, it's gonna be so hard to pass on that guy. Even if you can get Jordan Tyson, you like him a lot. I mean, with that risk of it being injury concerns and him being here, I just don't see a reason to pass on him.
Yeah, I mean, you have to find 5 starting offensive linemen this offseason. Really drafting a rookie lineman and expecting them to impact quickly, if you draft them after round 1, it just doesn't happen very often. So this is really one of their only 2 chances to get a guy that can be an instant contributor on the offensive line. Whereas receiver, I mean, you can get a guy in the 3rd or 4th round who's really good.
Yeah, exactly. So I think this makes the most sense for them, and I would be very surprised to see them not go tackle in this draft. Even from 2 months out, I think in 2 months I'll still be convinced that they're going tackle. So pretty easy pick for me.
Yeah.
Who you got at 7, though, to the Commanders? This is an interesting one.
I think they would really like it if it fell this way. They could choose Ruben Bain, Jeremiah Love, Sonny Styles, Mansour Lane. They got a lot of options here. Probably all 4 of the most realistic options for them. But I think I'm going to go to Lane just because
interesting.
Lattimore was starting for them last year.
Yeah, he was
Lattimore
really bad.
Was one of the worst corners in the NFL this season. You want to get an outside guy so you can move, or another outside guy, so then you don't have to just start Trey Amos and Mikey Sanders still as your 2 corners. I think probably one of them will end up being a good starter, but Sanders still took a step back this season. Trey Amos was up and down for a rookie year, which is fine, but you need a guy in there that you can trust to be your CB1. I don't think either of them will be CB1s.
I think this is interesting because I actually see them. I think that there's a much better chance that they would go and sign a veteran than they would draft someone, because having 3 super young CBs in there with no veteran presence when you're trying to develop 2 of them already, I don't know how much that they would look to that when they have so many holes on this defense already. If they believe in their guy, they believe in Mike Sanders still, and they believe in Trey Amos, these 2 guys that they drafted and are developing, then I can totally see them going a different way, because they just have so many holes. You can see them going a guy like Sonny Styles, which might have been who we took to them last time. Maybe.
I believe so.
No, we took Downs to Downs to them. But I think that Yeah, you can go Downs if he's here. You can go edge. They could use edge help. They could go Sonny Styles. You could really go anywhere on this defense. So if they believe in these young guys, I could see them definitely going away from this. But it's still a need, like you said. And so if they don't believe in their guys, this pick makes total sense. Delane had an incredible season this season, and so it's going to be hard to pass on a guy like that. But I think it's going to be hard for them to pass on a lot of guys here. They have so many good options at 7, at least how this board fell. So moving on to 8. For the Saints, I think this one is a lot harder. I can't remember who we took. Maybe this was Sonny Styles.
I think it was.
I think it was, which kind of sucks because that's kind of where I was leaning right now. Looking at it, their edge room is pretty good. You don't really need to address that here at 8. They could use a number 2 receiver, but do you really want to take a number 2 receiver at 8? There's the value there of trying to figure that out. Jeremiah Love's commonly mocked here, but we've talked about how I don't love that too much just because I don't think that they're you loved what you saw from Shuck, but I don't think we're confident that he's a franchise guy yet, right? We'd be like, oh yeah, let's see another year from him and see what we can do. But this team is so far from competing, especially if Shuck's not good. If Shuck takes a huge step back and isn't their franchise guy, I mean, you're just going to waste this number 8 overall pick because Love's not going to be good by the time you're good, right? And you probably won't even extend him, is my guess, because you won't be good by then. You're in cap hell still, and the only reason that you really showed any promise was because Shuck might pay off. And so if Shuck doesn't pay off, it's just you're a complete mess. So I don't love the idea of taking Love, but that being said, I'm going to take him anyway because I can see it as a decent possibility, even though I don't like it. If they really believe in Shuck, which they did, they reached on him in the second round when they probably could have gotten him a couple rounds later, it felt like. And obviously we don't know all the inside stuff, but that's what it sounded like to us. And then, you gave him that opportunity. He looked good. I could definitely see a path where this team is overconfident in a guy like Shuck, and then they just want to surround him with weapons. Olave looked a lot better, staying more healthy than in the past, and now you can get a guy like Jeremiah Love, who's just such a ridiculous talent. I mean, generational talent here at running back. So good. You get that guy in there, especially when your running game really struggled last season. I mean, by the end of the year, they were playing a guy like Audric Estime. He's starting for them. And so getting a weapon like this, if you're confident in Shuck, can be really hard to pass on. So I'm going to go with it.
If Kendre Miller didn't tear his ACL, I think he would have had a really good year. But
I liked Kendre Miller.
He was playing really well when he came in for Kamara, but you can't really, bet on someone who had 4 good games and then tore his ACL after being in the NFL for 3 years. So.
Right. And like I said, I don't love this pick. I don't think it's the best pick for them, but I could really see them going this way.
Yeah, I could also see them attacking defensive line. Maybe they want to draft Peter Woods here. I think that'd be a good pick
Peter Woods is just so varying right now, where he's going to go. I think he's going to be a big tell based on the combine and all that good stuff. So.
All right, so with number 9, the Chiefs, Ruben Bain fell right into their lap. I'm not even going to think twice. It's an excellent pick for them. I don't really know who was their other edge rusher besides Karlaftis.
Oh,
I think it was Gelati, the rookie this season.
Really? Right? He played that much?
He played a lot, at least at the end of this season when I was watching them. Maybe early in the season. Was it Mike Dana? Was he their edge rusher?
Whoever it was, it wasn't great.
Yeah, just a bunch of guys rotating door at edge rusher for them. And Ruben Bain instantly walks in there. By the end of year 1, is probably their best pass rusher. Or at least their best edge rusher.
Yeah, I mean, pretty insane. Ruben Bain is... I just don't get why he's falling. I understand he's got short arms, but just looked ridiculous in the playoffs, man. He felt like he was in the backfield every single play. I have not glazed this guy enough. I love glazing Ruben Bain. I just love what I've seen from him. I think he's going to be an amazing player, and I would not be happy to see him fall here to 9. So I'm really hoping maybe he shocks people with his arm length. Maybe he kills it at his pro day or something, and he just rises up the board. Because I think this is a guy who should be a top 3 pick in this class. And right now, like we talked about earlier in the video, it just doesn't feel like he's going to be. So I really would hate this. And so they got Jeremiah Love last time. They got Ruben Bain this time. It feels like they're going to end up with one of them 2.5 months before here. But hopefully they close the gap and don't let that happen. Hopefully the Saints are dumb and take Love, and maybe the Jets take Bain or something. I don't want him to go here. So
yeah, I
don't want to see him matched up against Mike McGlinchey next season. I'll tell you that much. At 10, though, we have the Bengals. And, I think it's pretty obvious we're probably going to be attacking defense here. I think there's definitely an argument to say you could attack or tackle because Mims didn't look great this season.
Yeah, but you can't really give up on him.
Right, you can't. That's what I was gonna say. Is like he's still young. He still has a chance. You knew he's a project when you took him. You could definitely attack edge rusher here. Hendrickson's a free agent, right?
I don't know.
I think they already signed him to a 1 year.
I think that sounds right.
I think he's a free agent. Shamar Stewart looked horrible. Unsurprisingly, had a ton of issues there. I don't even want to get into that situation, whatever happened. But they just have holes all over this defense. Mm-hmm. I think last time I had them taking corner, they could really use the number 1 guy in there. I know a lot of people like DJ Turner now, but I still feel like he could be a better CB2 than CB1. So you could get a guy in there. But, Sonny Styles still on the board. I think that's a really interesting pick for them. Get a guy in there when their linebackers aren't the greatest. But I just think the whole defense isn't the greatest. So it's just a tough pick all around. Looking at how the board's fallen, you're not going edge most likely, right? Because most of the great edges have already gone off the board, unless you want to take Keldrick Folk. You really want to take Shamar Stewart?
Don't take him after you took Shamar Stewart.
Right, that wouldn't make any sense. Yeah. So it's just like I think the board maybe hasn't fallen the greatest for them. I want to take Jermod McCoy again, but for the sake of switching things up, I think I'm going to go Sonny Styles here. Just because I think that he's a really good player at a defensive position that is a need for them. So I think that's where I'm going to go, even though it doesn't feel the greatest.
I mean, good value, but they just spent a second-round pick on Demetrius Knight.
You play 2 linebackers.
Yeah, but you're the Bengals. You have one of the worst defenses in the NFL. One season, you take Shamar Stewart and Demetrius Knight. The next season, you take another linebacker in round 1. It just doesn't make sense. That's just wasting value. You tell me you
couldn't see the Bengals doing that?
Well, I mean,
in this scenario, the only other player I can see as a possibility they take is Jermod McCoy.
They could also take Peter Woods here, or they could.
Is Peter Woods really going this high? We literally reacted to a Jeremiah draft where he dropped to 30.
Yeah, he could drop to 30 also. He could drop out of the first round, but he could also be taken here.
At 10? He could also take. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, there's a huge range.
That's a huge difference.
T.J. Parker could go here.
No way. No way T.J. Parker's going here.
Well, he's risen a lot lately with that. He had a great Senior Bowl, a great freshman, sophomore season.
Yeah, just not. Everyone knows Clemson just took the best step back. That's also going to be a huge story of this draft. Now you bring that up, is Clemson players just in general. Peter Woods, we were just talking about Parker. I mean, all these guys that just took huge steps back.
Kate Klubnik.
But all these guys that took huge steps back because of probably coaching, it seems, but something happened there. So very interesting to see them rise up the board. But Sonny Styles is very good. It's going to be hard for them to pass on and let him get out of the top 10, especially when Demetrius Knight was nothing special this season.
I mean, he's fine, and as a second-round pick, linebacker is like a tough translation, like underratedly tough. Sometimes it takes a year or two for guys to get, into the groove at linebacker.
Do you really want to pass on a talent like Sonny Styles, though, when your defense is so bad?
Still on the board, and I think with the bad defense, they should have attacked.
I mean, again, I would rather them take McCoy. I think it also makes more sense, but we already took McCoy. I wanted to switch things up.
Well, I'm taking McCoy here
at 11.
Yeah, the Dolphins' corner depth chart is a joke. Obviously, they still need a quarterback. They need receivers. They need everything. But their cornerback position, if that was a starting UFL cornerback position, I would not say that's their strength of the team, probably.
That's crazy.
And it's so bad.
That's a crazy statement.
Well, if you get rid of the people that are up, like Rasul Douglas is up. And also...
You've got Cater Kohu.
Yeah, he's a slot, though.
That's automatically your strength. Like, Cater Kohu would be the best player in the UFL, and it wouldn't be close.
Yeah, but he's a slot. I'm talking about outside corners.
Storm Duck would be one of the better corners in the league.
No, he would not. Well, he would. One of the better ones.
Yeah, he'd be like top 3, probably. The UFL is a huge difference from the NFL.
Yeah, all I'm saying is they would at least fit in with the UFL. You wouldn't be like, wow, this corner room's insane. They need to be in the NFL ASAP.
Well, yeah, this corner room's obviously terrible.
Packers cornerback room goes to the UFL, and they're like, wow, that's the best corner room of all time. Everyone signed them.
If they don't take...
And our corner room's terrible.
If they don't take a corner, I will be genuinely shocked.
I've seen a lot of mock drafts where they go like receiver or something.
That would make absolutely no sense. I would be so sorry for Dolphins fans.
All right, you got the Cowboys. Rough spot.
I hate the Cowboys. Like,
you took Sonny Styles. You did it to yourself.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. But there's no way Sonny Styles falls to them at 12. That'd be crazy.
It's the most common mock spot.
It'd just be crazy to pass on a guy like that. Obviously, we've been talking about Peter Woods, but they traded for
I don't think they take
Quinn
him.
Williams here this season, so that doesn't really make too much sense. I think an interesting thing to talk about is edge here. They don't really got good edges. I think
I like Ezraku, but they definitely need another guy.
I mean, Ezraku showed flashes, but like you don't have a number one guy for sure
Right now,
obviously not right now. But I don't know if you really think Ezraku is going to turn into that one that you want him to be. Talking about Sonny Styles for a second, I do think that's obviously a good pick for them. But you've got healthy Overshown this year, so maybe it's not as big of a need as it originally looks. Obviously, you could want something in the secondary here, but the corners kind of already went off the board. Caleb Downs is already off the board. Yeah, that's the right one. I keep thinking I'm saying Caleb Banks now because of the beginning of the video, but so it's a really tough spot for them. And I think you're gonna hate that. I think you're gonna hate me. But what makes sense to me, he just feels like a Cowboy, and it's a position of need. I'm gonna take Keldrick Folk to the Cowboys here.
I mean, that's interesting.
I don't know why, but he feels like a Cowboy to me. And
probably because I took him last video.
Did you?
I think so.
Oh, really? I had no idea. But he feels like a decent spot, or like a decently good chance that he gets taken here. I think it's a horrible pick.
I think this is the range he goes, and I know a lot of people are having him fall, but like a guy like this, he's going to go.
He never
the combine.
falls. Yeah,
they never fall.
He's going to rise.
At least the first round guys.
Well, he's going to rise is the thing, and so this feels like the spot, like you said, that he's probably going to go, and it's a team that you could, like you said, could use that second edge. Could be what you want him to turn into, the first edge, obviously, and there's just not really any other needs that they have that are available for the value here. So I don't know. Maybe one of our boards will eventually fall in their favor and they'll get someone better. But their second pick just feels like a way better spot for them than this pick. So Keldrick Folk's my pick.
All right. Well, this makes my pick very easy.
Yeah, you think so?
Well, I think that there's just the board just seems to always fall in a way that the Rams just end up with Mekhi Lemon, the best receiver in the draft class. Him. I mean, he fills a need. They do not have a third receiver on their team, and it feels like a luxury pick.
I like Mumpfield. I don't know why we're acting like he's not a third receiver.
Good wide receiver 4.
I think he's a good wide receiver 3.
Jeez, we did not see enough from him to say that.
He didn't even play enough.
And he could be a wide receiver 3 next year when Devontae goes.
Well, he can be a wide receiver 3 this year when he plays, because they're not going to take Mekhi Lemon. I know everyone got mad at me in the comments. And again, I'm not saying this is a bad pick if they take him.
There's just nowhere else that makes more sense.
I feel like people think I'm saying it's a bad pick when I say that doesn't make sense. When I'm saying it doesn't make sense is I don't ever see them taking him. I just don't. Like, teams don't do that.
Yeah, well, like, they could take Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs. Those guys make sense, but they're never going to be here. So you never get a chance to take them. The corners are both off the board in almost every mock draft.
Peter Woods. No, I could see them taking Avian Terrell.
Yeah, but he's not even. He's a huge reach at 13.
I mean, not according to PFF.
Mekhi Lemon is a phenomenal talent. He's the best.
Obviously, the value is a slam dunk. I don't really think it's going to happen, as crazy as it might sound. So. Moving on to the Ravens, though, this is another interesting one. We talked about last time how, the injury concerns with Madubuike are always there. Who did you end up going with last time?
I went with Cardinal Tate because he fell.
Cardinal Tate, that's right. Because they could really use that number one receiver. For me, I actually really like, I don't know if you might think it's a reach. I think it's a pretty good pick. I'm actually going to go Vega here to the Ravens.
I've seen this pick a lot.
I think that... Falele was horrible this season. One of the worst linemen in the NFL. And this is a run-first team, right? They always have been with Lamar, and especially when they got Henry. It's a run-first team. Henry's still going to be here next year. Lamar's going to be healthy. And they're trying to reestablish that dominance that the Ravens had. They just didn't have a good year last year. And I think they're going to look to run the ball and play tough defense under Minter after giving him a hire, which was a great hire, as we were talking about earlier today, actually, before the recording. And this defense is going to be stout again, I think. This defense is going to be legit again. Minter was able to do it with so much less talent in Los Angeles. I think there's so much talent on this Ravens defense. And he's really going to be able to succeed with that. And defensive teams love running the football. But it's going to be hard to run the football. I mean, they ran the football so well last year. Yeah. Imagine what they can do when they actually get run blocking inside. I mean, Falele was horrible, and they're still able to do that. Guards are so important in the run game, and I think Vega is a phenomenal prospect here at guard. And this is a team that I actually don't think has very many holes. Despite missing the playoffs, it's just bad coaching, injuries, everything went wrong for them. It felt like last season, missed kicks, whatever it may have been. It just all went wrong. And this is arguably their biggest hole on the entire team, and you can fill it with a great player here who's almost certainly going to be here at this pick. So I feel like it's a slam dunk for them.
Yeah, I agree with that. Obviously, this defense has always been more talented than they've played, or at least the past couple seasons since McDonald left. But, yeah, obviously, with Minter, I expect them to take a giant step up, and they just need to help this offense get the few remaining pieces, which is just like guard and receiver.
Right. So that's my pick at 14. Who you got at 15?
Well, curveball here. I'm going to take Kenyon Sadiq.
Whoa.
Well, I don't know. This seems a bit rich for him, but I think he's gonna fly at the combine. He's gonna rise up draft boards. He's a guy with a lot of potential. And then you get Cade Otton walking. I mean, look at last offseason. We're like, oh, the Bucs don't need to attack this offense. They don't need more pass game weapons. But then, I mean, first round they took Emeka Egbuka.
Right.
So and now
you just never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, they're losing Cade Otton. And if they sign him, obviously, it's probably not going to be a pick. But
dude, taking Sadiq, I don't hate it because I think it's not a bad prediction. Because, again, we're trying to predict stuff. But getting mad at me for Sonny Styles and then taking Sadiq is crazy work.
Why?
Or getting mad at me for David Bailey at 2 and then taking Sadiq is crazy work.
I just don't think either of those guys fit the team. Or
this guy doesn't fit the team at all.
Why not?
Because they don't. I imagine they want to re-sign Cade Otton, especially
imagine they let him walk, which is probably like 50-50 at this point.
Then I imagine they sign him. There's no way you waste a top 15 pick on a guy who had 560 receiving yards. And obviously, yeah, you think he's going to be a lot better than that with athleticism and stuff. But he's a tight end. To me, you take top 15 and you take a tight end, then you've got to be like a really, really elite tight end prospect.
Yeah,
I mean, Warren went, 14 last season?
Like
and Warren
way
was
better prospect.
Exponentially better of a prospect. So I just don't see him going this high. Personally, and I understand what you're saying about him flying up the draft board because he really will. Like, don't get me wrong, he definitely will because he's hella athletic. But basing it off of last year, I know this class isn't as strong, but you've got Loveland and Warren going at 10 and 14, and Sadiq going one pick later just wouldn't make any sense to me.
I think
because there's just 4 tiers between the guys.
And Bowers also went round
14,
range.
yeah.
But
So I think he went 13 or 14.
But every draft is different. Plus, we've seen these tight ends succeed that might make them want to do it more. I don't think it's necessarily a good pick, and I also don't think he should rise at the combine.
I don't know. I don't see them doing it.
A big part of his game is just like he's straight line speed. It's not like agility or anything. So I think I think we should take less stock in the combine, especially for him.
I 100% agree, but I've been saying that for years.
I don't
know. I like that you're throwing curveballs because I think that I know I've said it like 3 times, but like we are so far out that like this is the time to throw those curveballs and just take wild guesses and see like based on who's gonna rise and stuff, which I've done a couple times. Obviously, like no one really. I hope no one really thinks that David Bailey is worth the number 2 overall pick.
Well, a lot of people do.
So, but I mean, I haven't watched him too much, but apparently people really like him and stuff. And so I don't know. I just don't think it's gonna happen. But I like you taking the shot. 16 to the Jets. Their second pick of the draft. Like we said, this is probably a much better situation to draft in. And I think this is an easy pick. I don't know if you agree. Looking at the board, I don't even have to think about this one. Arguably their biggest need on the entire team. I'm going Peter Woods here.
Yeah.
Like this isn't even a conversation. Like we said, very varying where he could go. Because he had a phenomenal season before, but wasn't as incredible this season, but everyone on Clemson took steps back. His best reps are arguably the best in the class, you know what I'm saying? But he's just not as consistent. And so he's very, very talented and can shore up that interior D-line, which is just a huge need after getting rid of Quinton Williams. I mean, it is so unbelievably terrible. So this is an easy pick. If Peter Woods is here and they get to walk out with him, then they're going to be very, very happy.
Now, what do you think's more likely? Peter Woods has 2 dominant seasons, then turns 20, then becomes bad? Or do you think it's like there's an actual problem in the coaching staff and the entire team took a step back?
Well, I mean, the entire team.
Yeah, it's a lot more likely. So I don't really understand why we're taking so much into account of what happened this season when it's clear he's a better player.
Yeah, well, and I think that's why Peter Woods is. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to pass on him looking at him here at that need. So 17 of the Lions.
This is an easy pick.
Interesting.
Spencer Fano.
Oh, he's still here.
Yeah.
Jeez.
He can play guard or tackle.
You could have taken...
No, I was
To the
looking. I was
Bucs?
trying to get him. No,
Maybe.
definitely not.
Wirfs was hurt a lot. Who's
Gadecki.
Oh,
They're
that's
not
right.
drafting
That's
a
right.
tackle.
You're right.
I've been looking to try to get him off the board, but a lot of these teams around the middle didn't need linemen too much.
What do you think about the Cowboys? What if they had taken him?
I mean, they've Terrence Steele, who's not the best, but they're paying him a lot of money. So
You can't really. Yeah, I mean, just once he fell past. Well,
I mean, he could go at 3, but he could
if
also
two
go
people,
at
if two tackles
17.
don't go in the top 10, like if he doesn't go in the top 10, then I guess he might fall all the way to 17.
Mhm.
It's gonna be that's a slam dunk for the Lions. You probably would not be happy about that.
No, because year one he's going to be playing guard, which is a lot of people are projecting him to play guard in the NFL. And then what's the other tackle's name?
Which one?
Taylor. Is it Taylor Decker? Is that the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like 30-something, and his play's really dropped off. So maybe within a year or two, he transitions to left tackle. So
Yeah, I mean, I honestly forgot he was on the board. That's actually, but it's so, like, looking at it now, like, it's so possible he drops this far. But he is obviously an amazing player, so slam dunk of a pick for the Lions, whose offensive line really took a huge step back.
yeah,
this
definitely
season.
something, especially with Jared Goff, that you need to fix right now.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to pass on any elite offensive lineman. I think it's going to be very hard for them to pass on Vega if he's there because you just need linemen.
I just like this also gives them tackle insurance.
Yes, you get kind of both in a way. So moving on to the Vikings, I think this is a super tough pick. Just kind of a weird pick. I think last time we took Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're in one of the worst spots in the draft, in my opinion.
They don't need receiver. Tyson's obviously still here, but they definitely don't need receiver. You know, you don't really want to take edge here. You don't really want to take. I mean, I don't know. This is so tough. You obviously need DB help, but I don't want to take the same safety.
You can if you want to. It's not a big deal.
It's just.
You also take Terrell.
That's what I was just looking at. But like, I'm thinking about their corners. They got Rodgers, who obviously looked really good this season. People like Byron Murphy. So how likely is it they take a third corner? I don't know.
Take the next running back.
They really need no. They really need safety help.
Yeah, they're not in a good spot.
Dude, this might be like the worst situation I've seen in a long time for a draft spot. Like you just based on what you need, you know. They're not going to take like Caleb Banks here. Like, I don't know, man. I think I might just have to take McNeil-Warren again because they just need safety. I think I'm going to. I don't see another way they can really go here because, like, obviously we brought up Terrell, but I think they like their guys. I think they like their corners. This defense plays just really good brand of team football. Kind of reminds you of a weaker version of the Seahawks where there's not necessarily superstars, but they just play really well. Right, at least in my opinion.
Seahawks have a quarterback.
Right, I meant on the defensive side of the ball.
Oh.
And so, because their defense are similar to me. Like they play team football. They have great schemes, great defensive minds, and they're able to just play a lot better than they are on paper. And so I think that like it's hard to find holes. You know what I'm saying? But I think that their safeties are definitely a concern, especially with Harrison Smith. He's going to be retiring very soon. I don't think he's retiring this season, but maybe next.
I don't know. Maybe. Wait, I feel like I saw something about him probably retiring, but I don't know.
They obviously lost Bynum last season, so I could definitely see them going McNeil-Warren, but it's the only one I can really be like, I could see them doing that. I just don't see them going any other way. So this is a really tough pick, but I guess I'm going to go with McNeil-Warren. So you got 19 to the Panthers.
I'm going to take Caleb Banks here. He rose a lot in the Senior Bowl.
A lot.
I feel like this is one of the later picks he could be going at this point. And the Panthers, obviously, they could use another receiver, but you like what you saw from Jalen Coker. You'd like to think that they're not going to give up on Leggett. They just shouldn't have drafted him in the first place. I didn't like that pick at all. But him as your number 3 is not the worst thing in the world. You don't really need to spend a first-round pick to fix that, in my opinion. Yeah. And aside from Derek Brown, they don't really have anyone on that defensive line. I mean, Scorton on the edge was fine this year as a rookie, which is promising. But other than that, no one else really is good at all. So. Yeah,
and I mean, obviously it's concerning. Caleb Banks only played 3 games this season. But like you said, very good at the Senior Bowl. He's been rising a ton, which means he must have killed it at the Senior Bowl.
Well, also, he was like a projected top 10 pick, and then he got hurt after 3 games. So I don't really understand why you dropped in the first place, in my opinion.
Yeah, but that is kind of strange. But, definitely you could pair him up with Derek Brown in there, so that's going to be a lot of fun for them, and their D-line's going to be stout. Their run defense is going to be so much better than it was 2 years ago, where it was like the worst of all time or whatever, so I definitely think that's not a bad pick for the Panthers by any means. 20, the Cowboys with the Packers pick here. I think that it's a better spot for them than 12 was, where we took Folk. Obviously, you're not looking at edge now that you took Folk. I think you're immediately looking at a guy like Avian Terrell if you like him a lot. Obviously, he's a project type of guy. He's really young, but your corners are horrific, in my opinion. I don't like Bland, who's being way overpaid. You got rid of Diggs. Revel, I mean, I guess you could hope he still turns out and works, but he hasn't looked great so far. So the secondary is just really, really not good to start off. But then there's also, I think, obviously you have to look at C.J. Allen as an option here, just a good linebacker to play next to Overshown. So I think it's definitely between those two guys. And I'm actually going to go with Allen here. I just think it makes more sense to me. I think that if they're going to be drafting a corner, it's a guy they want to start day one. You already got your developmental guy, you hope, in Revel, I think. A guy you want to be developing. It doesn't make sense to pair him with another one. And you don't really want Bland to be that veteran presence, if that makes any sense. So I think if there was a more developed corner, they would take him over Allen, but because there's not, I'm going to take Allen here.
I just don't think the value's here at 20 for Allen. I think that's
you took him higher last time.
Yeah? What team did I take him to?
I'm not sure, but you took him at like 15 or something ridiculous. Well, it might have been 15.
I don't think so.
It might. We'll have to check after this, but you took him before this. I know that.
I don't think so.
I know you took him before this. So I know it's a reach, but I think it's...
Maybe I took him at this pick.
No, I don't think so. I think you took him before this. But I know you took him early, because I was like, wow, that's...
Well, I mean, this is early, too.
Right, but this is a need for them. And again, the Cowboys aren't drafting in great spots. So
I'm glad the Packers traded away this pick. Especially because we haven't exactly had the best track record.
I think you should want Avian Terrell. Try to get a guy in there.
I'd rather have Micah Parsons.
Well, obviously, but this pick isn't the only thing you gave up.
Yeah, next pick.
You also gave up $50 million.
Oh, wow.
Moving on to 21.
That's a lot.
The steal.
I'm going to take Jordan Tyson. I know they normally wait till round 2 to draft receivers, historically, like every single season. They only draft round 2 receivers. But when Tyson's there at 21, a lot of people have him as wide receiver 1. Sometimes he goes in at like number 5 in the draft, number 4 in the draft. When he's there at 21, even if he has medical concerns, if he just passes your medical tests, obviously got to take him here. They might even trade up, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that he's fallen this far is just a slam dunk for the Steelers. I think we took Denzel. Oh, no, not Denzel Boston. Who did we take last time? I thought we took a receiver.
Did we?
Did. Oh, no, we took Simpson. But I think that Tyson would be a slam dunk for them. They obviously need receiver, someone across from DK really badly. They've needed it for a while now, and so I think that'd be a very tough pick to pass up on. Mike McCarthy coming in, different mindset than Mike Tomlin, so maybe they finally go receiver in that first round.
Yeah, and he also definitely complements DK Metcalf, whereas a guy like Denzel Boston doesn't complement him as well, in my opinion.
Moving on to 22, we got the Chargers. Obviously, their offensive line was their big weakness this season, but Vega's already off the board, so can't really take him. I think that's the most commonly mocked spot for him. And obviously that'd be their favorite pick. But this makes my life really hard, I think, because I think this is much tougher now. Something I do want to bring up is how that I would be considering edge if it weren't for Tui Pelotu and his breakout this season. I mean, he had a phenomenal season. Obviously, Khalil Mack's getting really old, so I think that if you didn't have Tui Pelotu, bringing in a guy like T.J. Parker might make some sense here. Unfortunately, they want to make my life hard, so they have Tui Pelotu. You could obviously take interior D-line, which is, I guess, where I'm leaning right now, but it makes it hard because you just signed Tier Tart. I mean, I know he's not like, oh, we can't draft anyone because we have Tier Tart and you can play them both, but I just don't really see many other holes besides like interior offensive line. Who it would just have to be a big reach here, in my opinion.
You could take one of the tackles to play guard.
You think that's worth it? Like, I mean,
you could. It's an option.
I could take Caden Proctor. We talked about last time how I feel like he can be a really good guard. Like, he feels like he has a guard skill set, but he's a little tall for guard. like, was he 6'7" or something
Mhm.
like that? So he's a little tall for guard. I don't think that's a bad option, especially since their tackles are coming back. So he's being forced to play guard, right? If he's
Yeah.
getting taken, we know he'd be playing guard. So it's between him and Caden McDonald, maybe.
Sure.
So
That's who you want.
I think I will go Caden Proctor. I think that's actually a good idea because I just think he has a good guard skill set, and they just really need a guard, I think.
I mean, they really need to invest on this offensive line to help Herbert out.
Yeah, I mean,
Get rid of all the excuses of if man.
obviously you got the tackles figured out, and so it's a little weird situation because guards aren't anywhere near as valuable.
Mhm.
But I guess technically you're still taking a tackle, so value's there. If one of the tackles goes down again, maybe he can kick out to the end and stuff. But somehow, even with those tackles down, their interior was still the worst part of their line. So they got to get that figured out.
Oh, I'm in a really bad spot here.
You think so?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're going to re-sign Jalen Phillips. They just traded for him, so I'd assume.
You'd assume they would, right?
If they re-sign him, they have him and Nolan Smith. So I guess that's fine. So I guess I'll take Avian Terrell.
Interesting.
Project corner. But
We've talked about why Avian Terrell doesn't make that much sense
yeah,
for the Eagles, but
there's not the board did not fall well for them.
right.
Plus, I mean, this season they were able to make do with their CB2 being James Bradbury. So, I mean, you want to do that again and then just develop Avian Terrell so he's ready by like mid to late of the season. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a bad pick by any means, and I think the value's definitely there because he could turn out to be an amazing player, and then you got him at 23 and stuff. It's just, I don't know. Obviously, they're not like super prioritizing corner. I think we talked about how it makes more sense for them to go sign someone, but like you said, the board didn't really fall their way, so it makes some sense to sign him. Here at 24, the Jags' pick is now the Browns' pick. We had them taking Francis Mauigoa at 6, so obviously I think they're looking receiver here. Huge need. They need someone that Shedeur Sanders can throw the ball to. I think you might have taken Omar Cooper here last time. You took him.
No, I took him to the Broncos.
Broncos. That's right. I knew you took him in the first round.
The Browns, who did they take?
I'm not sure, but I think Denzel Boston is super tempting here, right? He's a big body receiver. Go up and get a receiver that can be your X. He can be the number one guy. You have Judy on the other side. You got Fannin like we were talking about earlier. And then he just feels like the obvious pick here. Obviously, Chris Bell tore his ACL this season. And then I just don't think Concepcion makes any sense here for their need. So I'm going to go Denzel Boston. He's just kind of exactly the mold they're looking for, in my opinion. And so I think that if he's here at 24, it makes a lot of sense to try to go grab him.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, sick.
I mean, they need size in that room.
Yeah, badly.
Because right now they have Jerry Jeudy, who doesn't try half the time, and they have Isaiah Bond, who weighs like 160 pounds.
Right. So
And only runs straight.
So
So,
don't worry though. You got Tillman.
okay, well, I mean, I think he's underrated. They don't want to use him at all, so
Yeah.
basically shouldn't
Be on the team.
worry about counting him.
Yeah.
The Bears are in a pretty bad spot here, in my opinion. The linebackers were taken. The dude we took last time, Caleb Banks,
Mm-hmm.
been off the board for a while.
Yeah, because he keeps rising.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Lee Hunter, the defensive lineman
Wow.
out of Texas Tech. He had a very good Senior Bowl and just flew up the rankings. Pretty good this season for that Texas Tech defensive line that was very good.
Mm-hmm.
With David Bailey in there as well. Definitely the best defensive line in football. He's also like 330 pounds. Got a lot of girth to him. And he is a lot more.
Weird thing to say.
What?
That's just a weird thing to say.
No, it's not. He's got a lot more pass rush moves than Caden McDonald, who would be the higher player on the board, who's more of just a run defender.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad pick at all. They could definitely use some help there. At 26 to the Bills, I think this is interesting because we talked about last time how I feel like they would trade up. I think they're the team. I think if the Rams don't like what they see and Mekhi Libman's on the board, I think there's a good chance that the Bills give up a lot to move there and the Rams trade back and get extra picks.
It's just a long way to trade up.
Yeah, but the Bills want a receiver. They want it bad.
And Mekhi Lemon's a slot guy. Or, like,
That is
you want
true.
him to play at least a lot in the slot. Maybe not
Right.
exclusively, but they have Shakir, so it doesn't really
I mean,
make
look
that
at the
much
other
sense.
options here. You got Concepcion, you got Chris Bell, you got Omar Cooper, maybe. I mean, I know you like him
I
a
think
lot.
Chris Bell is kind of like the build they're looking for.
Yeah, but I just is the value really there?
No.
I just think I feel like I still take him. They're gonna reach on receiver. I know they're taking a receiver in this first round. I just feel like they are. They hired Brady. They dissed on Keon Coleman. They talked about how it wasn't Allen's fault. All these things. It was they really want a receiver. Get him help because he hasn't had receiver in a couple years now, and so huge reach. But I could see it happening. I'm gonna go Chris Bell for the Bills. It just feels like. Yeah, obviously the value's not there, right? But it just feels like they want their guy. They want a specific position so unbelievably badly. And obviously you could take. I mean, I wouldn't hate like a T.J. Parker here with the rising, and so maybe if he rises more, you take him. But I really think they're looking for a receiver.
Yeah.
So
I would say if he didn't tear his ACL, I think this would be a good pick since. He's like the prototypical number one. He's fast. He's like 6'2" or something. But yeah, it's risky taking a guy off of an ACL who played at Louisville in the first round.
Right.
So
very risky, but I think that the Bills aren't necessarily afraid of risk. They just want to reach on receivers like Keon Coleman.
Okay. But a lot of people really thought that was a good value pick.
Yeah, for some reason.
Niners here. Safeties, no value there. Edge rushers, I don't think they will take one because they took Michael at 9 or 11, one
and
of the two.
And
they have Bosa. Both are coming off major injuries, but
traded for
maybe you take more of a bridge edge rusher or something like that rather than wasting your first round pick on one.
Right.
Because that
traded for Keon White too.
I mean, it's good depth.
Yeah.
Do you see what happened?
No.
They got shot at the Super Bowl.
What? I did not see that. That's actually
kind of crazy.
Dude, that's actually wild.
Yeah.
But again, they're probably not going to take edge.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, receiver would be nice for them. I mean, their receivers are really underratedly bad. I don't see it enough. I think their receiving room is it worse than the Bills? I think it might be. Because Jennings is gone. And I think I don't think he's coming back. And they have Pearsall. Who's their number 2? I feel like I'm missing someone. Ayuk's gone.
Is Robinson gone?
Who's Robinson?
DeMarcus Robinson?
Yeah, no, but they didn't use him.
Is Bourne gone?
Bourne, like these guys all suck.
Bourne had a huge game this season. Don't remember that?
I think Casey's Concepcion is too much reliant on his speed, similar to Ricky Pearsall. I don't think that would make too much sense. I think I'm just going to take Omar Cooper again. I think he's going to end up being a first-round guy. I don't know why no one's talking about him as a top 5 receiver. In my opinion, I think it's very obvious he's a top 5 receiver. He's a guy who can play inside, outside, super good after the catch, a good route runner, good speed. He's just got everything. He's got good hands. I just don't understand why he's not being talked about. And he's not the best compliment to Pearsall, but he's still a good compliment. It's not like you're taking Concepcion, who might be the more liked prospect. I just don't think that would make too much sense.
Yeah, like it fits better. You really like him. You feel like he could move up in the draft process, so I definitely don't think it's a bad pick by any means. We're going to be very similar to last time with the Texans. Not thinking twice. We're going with offensive tackle. They have to take a tackle here. It's between Lomu and Monroe Freeling. I'm going to take Lomu. I think we took Freeling last time. Lomu's still here this time, though, and I think that it makes a lot of sense for them to just go Lomu. Try to get a tackle in there that you like, and hopefully a tackle that can actually block.
Yeah, and that would be nice.
It's as simple as that.
I mean, Earth 3 wasn't that bad this season. I think early in the season, their line wasn't even that bad. It kind of just fell apart near the end of the season.
Obviously, Stroud has not been good. I think there's a big reason he took a step back is because of the line. He feels like he has like the yips a lot of the time now. It feels like he feels pressure. It's not there. I think it's a big reason because he did feel so much pressure last season and this season. So they're going to value offensive line. They want C.J. Stroud to be the franchise guy. They still want to believe in him, and they have to give him an opportunity to prove that he is.
Yeah, I mean, completely agree with that. Anyway, with the next pick, the Rams, one of the best teams in the NFL. We just took Mekhi Lemon. I'm going to take Brandon Cisse. He can play on the outside, and right now their outside corners are terrible. I think Emmanuel Forbes, I do think he's a good corner.
Somehow.
Not your number one.
Yeah, but he's solid.
Like, you hope Cisse can be that. Kobe Durant, I think, is up, and he's also terrible. And then Darius Williams is even worse. And I don't really care if he's up, so I'm going to take Cisse here. I think that's a really good value pick, honestly, here at 29. to fill a need as well.
Yeah, I mean, corner's such a big need. I want them to take corner at 13 if there's one there. It doesn't feel like there's going to be, though, because of the need at corner before them. Like, 2 picks before, it's the Dolphins. Like, they're going to take a corner. And then Delane feels like he's going to be a top 10 guy, so it's very hard for them to get them there. So if they don't, Cisse is not a bad option. Moving on to 30. I think this one's interesting. But here at the Broncos, I get to pick my team. I don't really know. I feel like we just need a receiver so unbelievably bad. But going back to that like fit thing, now that Cooper's off the board, we don't need Concepcion. I feel like we want to play Mims a lot more. So maybe we attack this in free agency. Maybe we trade up. I'm not really sure. We really need a tight end, but Sadiq's already off the board. It's way too early for like Eli Stowers, obviously. So probably not going to take a tight end there. So then I go into interior D line. Because I think, or linebacker. I think it's between those two, right? And interior line, you talked about how Caden McDonald's more of a run stopper. We really need a pass rusher in there more than a run stopper. We got DJ Jones. Malcolm Roach has been really good recently. So it doesn't make a ton of sense to take like a Caden McDonald. But if you go to linebacker, I mean, I remember, didn't you take Jake Golday like way too high last time?
Yeah, I mean, he's 6'4", he's athletic.
Did you take him over Anthony Hill?
Yeah.
Or did you also take Anthony Hill?
Anthony Hill's the Texas guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't take Anthony Hill.
So maybe, I feel like I want to take a linebacker here because we just need one so bad. I don't really know anything about Anthony Hill, if I'm being honest. I just know that he's a lot higher on the board, than Jake Golday.
I think Jake Golday's going to rise.
You think
Jake Golday played a weird role in Cincinnati. They had him playing like slot.
Yeah. So he's athletic. He's an athletic linebacker. That's kind of what the Broncos want, kind of what the Broncos need after. Hopefully we let Singleton walk. I don't know. I don't feel like there's anything that fits us here, so why not take Golday? We're going to take him.
Interesting.
And we just need a linebacker that can actually move and like cover anyone at all, please. Singleton has been so bad at that this season. It feels like every big play is because of him or Moss every single time. And like literally multiple times this season, McKay was like, he has to be like not a real person because it's always every replay like probably Singleton, and McKay's like, oh stop, bro, it's definitely not Singleton. When he comes up and it's Singleton again, like it's actually insane. It's not real. So I know it's a risk. I know it's a reach. I don't care. Just please give me a linebacker.
Wasn't he like first Pro Bowl alternate? And you're trying to
Singleton?
Replace him? Yeah, and you're trying to replace
He definitely
him.
wasn't first alternate.
I thought you told me that.
He is an alternate. I don't know if he was first.
Okay.
But 31 to the Patriots, who you got?
I mean, T.J. Parker's still on the board.
I was just looking at that.
I mean, that's a huge fall for T.J. Parker, and I really like T.J. Parker. I think he's a great prospect. He had a great first 2 seasons at Clemson. So I don't think they pass on that. Right now, who are their edge rushers? They have Kayvon Chase on. Dude, I don't even know. Is there other one? Dude, I feel like such a casual right now.
Is it Landry?
But yeah, it is Landry. But they paid him a lot of money, and he was not that good this season. So you got these guys who are just not that great, and I know Chason had a pretty good season, and he'll probably get paid by them, but you need another guy. I don't want Landry. Him coming in as a designated pass rusher on third down, great role for Landry. That's what he's done most of his career. But as an early down player, I think early on, T.J. Parker can be a great contributor as well as providing a lot of pass rush upside. And at pick 31, that's insane. One of the best value picks of the draft.
Right, and with how much he's rising, he probably won't end up being here at 31. Yeah. He'll probably keep going up and up, but as of right now, he's right here, so why not? At 32, I got the Seahawks. Such a tough pick, in my opinion. They just don't have holes on this roster. Just won the Super Bowl. And last time we took Cisse, I think that was a good pick because they could really use that second corner with Woolen being set to walk, right? And Job being set to walk.
I'm not positive about Job. But
I know he's a free agent.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they're going to re-sign him, but I know he's a free agent.
I don't know. I assume they'll probably sign one of them, right? I don't think he'd let both walk.
But like, I don't know what they'd want here.
Such a complete team.
I mean, the offensive line could definitely use some help. You could take a tackle and move him in.
Take Pregnon. Get Bradford out of the lineup.
You know what? I'm actually going to do that. That's actually a really good shout because Bradford's terrible. I mean, that rep in the Super Bowl, I don't know if everyone saw it, but there was this one rep in the Super Bowl that was just unbelievable. It was unbelievably bad. Like, one of the worst reps I've ever seen. And so I think that's actually a pretty good pick for them. That's really one of their only holes in the entire roster. And so, you might as well take a shot at fixing it, even if it's not the greatest value in the world. So I think I'll go there just because Seahawks are such a tough team to draft for.
Yeah, I obviously agree. It was my suggestion.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a rock-solid guard. I don't think he'll miss at all. I think he's a bit old. I think he's 24, but pick 32 for a lineman, it's not that big of a deal. So
Right. So that is our mock draft. If there's anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here.
We did have Cassius Howell falling.
We did, all the way out of the first round.
I think that's what's going to happen.
But someone's got to fall. It's the NFL draft.
I mean, Ruben Baines criticized for his short arms.
But not Cash.
Cassius Howell's arms are 2
I've
inches
never
shorter.
seen Ruben, so Ruben Baines the most, criticized for short arms of all time.
You probably haven't even heard that Cassius Howell's arms are 2 inches shorter.
Yeah, that's actually crazy.
2 inches.
That's actually wild.
I mean, Ruben
2 inches is a lot.
Yeah, and Ruben Bain has 2 inches less than Aiden Hutchinson, who was, he only felt 2, but that was a big concern with him.
Yeah.
4-inch difference between the two.
Yeah, that's actually crazy.
I just don't understand why we're talking about Cassius Howell like that.
After his pro day, everyone will be like, huh? Why is his arm so short? So, but that is our mock draft for the post-Super Bowl. Let us know in the comments what you change, and let us know what you agreed with, because we are always interested in hearing your comments. We love talking with you guys. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you made it this far, because it probably means you enjoyed it. It helped us out a lot, and have a good one.